everyone, and welcome to the seventh edition of the Factly Digest. I'm Parvati Mohan. I lead the audio visual production efforts here at Factly, and this is a fortnightly special live that we do from our studio in house, where we come to you with all the exciting work that we've been doing, that the various teams at Factly have been doing over the past 2 weeks. And every fortnight, we will talk to representatives of two of the teams that um, sorry about that. So, uh, so we this is sort of a fortnightly update on what these teams are doing at Factly, what kind of stories have been covered, what kind of content is being created, and in a nutshell, that's what we're here to do. And before we move on to that fortnightly update, a very quick note that our memberships are now live, and we're very happy that every time we do another edition of the Factory Digest, we've added more members to our roster. So we're very excited that the memberships is here, it's in place. So definitely consider joining. Check out the join button next to our channel name after this live is done. And it's a very it's a small but important way in which you as viewers can show your support for the kind of work that we do here at Factly. And of course, it encompasses custom emojis and stickers, and of course priority responses to comments on our video content. uh, that said, if you have any questions during the course of this live, please leave them in the live chat, that which should be to your side, to the side of your screen. And even otherwise, get back to us through comments on our videos, on our social media efforts, all of that. We are here, we are excited to listen from you. But yes, for the moment, do post your questions in the live chat, and we will take them towards the end of this live and answer them to the best of our capabilities. And that said, let's get into the fortnightly update from the first team that we have on this edition, which is the newsroom. With me is my colleague Sai Krishna from the newsroom. So, welcome back to the Faculty Digest, Sai Krishna. Uh, so, I think before we get into the sort of highlight, during the last edition, we spoke to your colleague Pavitra about your team's story on unclaimed bank deposits. What happens to them? You've now Your team has now followed up with a story on what happens to unclaimed insurance deposits as well. Now, I it may sound boring, but I think where this becomes relatable is that we all know people who sort of hesitate to get insured, because they think it's money just wasted as premiums if you never end up claiming the insurance. But and just to say this out loud, we are not trying to change anyone's minds, but just out of curiosity and for the love of data, what actually happens to money that is an insurance deposit that is unclaimed?
Okay, so before I talk about what exactly happens to unclaimed insurance amounts, let me talk about why actually we did this story.
Right.
So, like you rightly mentioned, my colleague Pavitra did was live during the last Faculty Digest, and she spoke about RBI's 100 days 100 pay campaign. But banks aren't the only financial institutions that hold enormous amount of money. There are insurance companies too, and these insurance companies also hold enormous amount of money. And we wanted to explore where does these unclaimed amounts go, and do they what does these insurance companies do with that amount.
Right.
So we wanted to explore that as a follow-up to RBI story, and that is how we ended up doing this story. So, what exactly are unclaimed accounts, unclaimed insurance amounts? So, as per the IRDA regulations, unclaimed insurance amount is the amount that is held by the insurers, but actually belongs to the insurers, like the policy holders, but that are remaining unclaimed for more than 6 years, 6 months from the due date, from the
Okay.
final due date. So now regarding your question of what happens to these unclaimed insurance amounts, so as per the IRDA regulations, all the unclaimed insurance amounts that are more than 10 years duration are transferred to senior citizens welfare fund. That is a special fund created in 2017, and all the amounts that have a tenure of more than 10 years are
Hmm.
transferred to that.
Hmm.
The insurance companies are required to categorize these unclaimed insurance deposits by the tenure
Hmm.
and transfer the respective amounts to the senior citizens welfare fund when they cross 10 years period.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
So I think then the natural question next is, what have the findings of your analysis been, and also maybe a quick note on the sources that you used for the story.
okay. So, unfortunately, the data for this story is not publicly available.
Right.
So, our data research team at Factly filed an RTA with IRDI
Hmm.
and obtained information on this.
Okay.
So, we got some form of data set, and we converted it in a clean and standardized manner using our internal research team. Regarding the findings, I would like to highlight three quick data points. The first data point is the between 2017-18 and 2022-23,
Okay.
more than 2,800 crores of unclaimed insurance deposits are transferred to senior citizens welfare fund. And among these, within these 2,800 crores, more than 90% belong to life insurance category,
Mm-hmm.
and the rest belongs to non-life insurance category.
Okay.
And the second thing that I want to highlight is the even within the life insurance category, LIC alone accounts for more than 80% of all that. It is followed by ICICI Prudential.
Mm.
In the non-life insurance category, uh, the share of different companies is more or less evenly distributed,
Mm.
with like ICICI Lombard leading and New India Insurance emerging as a second top insurance company.
Okay. All right. And since we have a little more time on the newsroom update, what other story from the fortnight do you think is something interesting for our viewers?
I think another significant story that we did in the last fortnight is the story on UN peacekeeping mission. So
Mm.
this story is a special one because 2023 marks the 75th year of its existence,
Mm.
and we all know how crucial their contribution in peace building in conflict-ridden countries.
Yeah.
So, but the kind of environment in which they operate, they are more prone to fatalities.
Mm.
So, we wanted to explore the fatalities and the funding pattern of uh, the UN keeping nations, but we limited our story to only fatalities.
Mm.
Now, the data for this story we have sourced it from UN peacekeeping mission website, but we have cleaned it and we have properly transformed in a standardized manner, and that is available in our Factlist data full website.
Mm.
Uh, Regarding the key, what has been the highlight of the story is that since its inception, more than 4,300 military personnel were killed as of May 2023,
Mm-hmm.
and majority of the missions in say African countries, Middle East countries, and East European nations, and these regions have more number of fatalities
Mm.
compared to other regions.
Mm.
And if we look at the nationality wise, the subcontinent countries like India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh have lost more number of nationals in peacekeeping missions.
Mm.
So you can also find more detailed story on our website and
Yeah.
also on social media handles.
Yeah. Yeah. About that, we will be linking the both these stories in the description of this live after it is concluded. So for those of you who are interested, definitely refresh this live once it's concluded. Give us 5-10 minutes, and we will update both the links in the description. Definitely read these articles, and also like Sai Krishna said, we are posting a lot of these things. A lot of this content is being translated to social media posts, reels, and also just the kind of old school square post. So we are at Factly India across social media platforms, so do consider looking at that. With that, we are done with the newsroom update. Thank you, Sai Krishna.
Thanks.
Look forward to having you the next time.
Thanks.
And we are moving on to the second team, which is the research team. But before that, just a few notes. Uh, Once again, our social media handles are at Factly India. Definitely go through these pages and see the kind of efforts that we are putting in. We have a wide range of content on these platforms, particularly on Instagram and of course YouTube, which you are on right now. There's a quote review, there's the newsroom's efforts, all of which is being translated into reels and posts and all of that bite-sized informative posts that are great for consumption of information on the go if you don't want to be wasting your time on social media and want to go through something informative that can actually be of use to you. And um, with that, we will now move on to the second team that we are talking about. And with me is my colleague Akhil from the research team. And with me is my colleague Akhil from the research team. And hi, Akhil, welcome back to
Hi,
the
Pratik.
Factory Digest. And now, the last time you were here, given you had spoken about our in-house tool being developed at Factory, which is called Dataful. And you know, for those people who are joining us for the first time on the Faculty Digest, can you just give a quick introduction to what this Dataful really is?
Sure, Pratik. Like Dataful is a product of Factly. It's a data portal, so anybody can go onto that website on www.dataful.in.
Hmm.
So anybody can go onto that website and search for different data sets we are putting on that website. People may ask what is different. Like
Hmm.
there are other data portals in India
Yeah.
which provide the same information.
Hmm.
But what we are doing there is like providing data across 50 plus sectors.
Hmm.
So there are some data portals, but which are focused on specific sector,
Hmm.
and they are not. There are some data portals where they say they provide data on all sectors, but they're very limited number of data,
Hmm.
in hundreds. Whereas in on Dataful, we have more than 15,000 plus data sets, and we are adding day by day.
Yeah.
So that's one USP of Dataful. And also what we does on for data sets on Dataful is we compile and clean and standardize dataset so that people just download dataset and they can work on it.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. Like currently, what there is Manipur violence. Like it's a trending topic. There, everybody is discussing on it. But can you find data at a single place? No. What we did was we found data being spread across different annual reports released by MHA. Our internal team went through all those reports, compile the data, and structure them in a simple data set so that people can just download, can go onto dataful.in now, search for the data set, and just download it, and they can do their own analysis, like just like Sai Krishna and the newsroom team does. So not only does, since we are doing anyway for the Manipur thing, we also compile data for every northeastern state. So people can have a bird's eye view of how the violence has happened over the years. Like, we are compiled almost for 20 years, so they can see the trend. It's not single of incident which is happening now. They can do the whole analysis on that specific
Yeah.
topic.
Yeah. Before we move on, a quick reminder that you can ask your questions in the Q&A, I'm sorry, in the live chat to the side of your screen, and we will try to take as many as we can towards the end of this live. Okay, with that said, so you've spoken about data cleaning, um, and already references the stories we just spoke about to Sai Krishna. One is, of course, what happens to the unclaimed insurance deposits and the UN peacekeeping efforts, the kind of numbers associated with that. So, whether it's these data sets or, largely, what is the process of collecting and cleaning data sets that you follow?
Okay. Regarding the unclaimed deposits, there was no data in the public domain, at least in the form we want. So what we did was like we filed an RTA with IRDAI, which keeps the data on that specific subject. We do file RTAs with other departments also whenever we don't find data on specific topics. So we filed an RTA for that specific unclaimed deposits data. We got it, but the challenge was they gave through a letter, like since we applied through an online platform, what scanned images. So our internet team has to sit through all those pages, convert them into an Excel file, then clean and standardize so that people we follow standards across all data sets on Dataful. So if a single person can use a single data set, they can they can be familiar with all the standards across the data set since we follow standards of state names, languages, and everything. So that was a challenge. So we took time, we cleaned the data set, compiled it, and placed it on our Dataful portal. So anybody now they need not file an RTA for the specific data. They just go onto the portal and just download and use it for their own purposes. Coming to UN peacekeeping, like the data was available, uh, but why did we uh, think of making the data set?
Mm.
Because similar to how I said, like Manipur violence, train accidents, whenever something comes in the news and we want people to be better informed, so they can make their own opinions, but when there is data, they can make an informed opinion.
Mhm.
So what we thought was, since as Sakshna said that since it's 75 years of UN peacekeeping, we
Mm.
thought why not make data and make people available to the people so that
Mm.
so they can see which country contributed, where are the peacekeeping
Yeah.
missions happening, and how much funding each mission gets and everything.
Yeah.
So we downloaded the data set, cleaned it again, standardized according to our own standards and rules,
Mm.
and we kept it on data full portal. We made around 6 to 7 data sets, and most of them are free now. So
Mm.
people can just go onto the portal, download, and use for their own analysis.
Yeah. So, quick note then, Akhil, on who are the kind of people who would most benefit from Dataful?
Uh, Anybody who's working on India, like there's no, since everybody uses data in their own, like researchers, journalists,
Yeah.
con- policy consultants,
Mm.
even like we are seeing that people belonging to NGOs,
Yeah.
social sector, also people who are interested in the
Yeah.
data related to India.
Yeah.
So even for foreign universities, there are India specific missions and
Yeah. Yeah.
India specific uh, sectors. Like people are doing research on specific to India. There
Yeah.
are people interested in data related to India. So
Yeah.
anybody who wanted to work on India and want some data related to different sectors out of India,
Mm.
they can
Mm.
come onto the portal and search for it. Like currently, we have a lot of data sets. We do not promise to have everything, but
Yeah.
we're starting with almost 15,000 data sets.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a big number.
No, definitely. And like you said, it's only moving forward
Yeah, yeah.
from here. Now, Dataful has had a sort of soft launch, so in some sense it is sort of in operation. So I think there's been an interesting case of a real time impact that the product has already had in this time. So can you tell our viewers a little about that?
Like I said, like we interact with data on a daily
Yeah.
basis. Like sometimes when we are compiling data, we find some errors in the data released by the
Mm.
governments.
Mm.
And one such case is the GST data, which is like every people use it on a day. Economic data is like used by everybody.
Yeah.
So and when we are compiling, we have something called high frequency indicators
Mm.
where we update it on a monthly basis.
Mm.
Currently, we have more than 100 data sets related to not only related to economy but different social sectors, temperature, rainfall, and everything. So in our daily monthly process of cleaning that, updating those data sets, what we found was in the GST data sets in related to e-way bills, we find some uh, numbers like which are not doesn't seem real. For example, like if you take for or even for small UTs and states,
Mm.
we found that the numbers were in lakhs of crores for each month, which is not implausible for at least for small states. So we wrote to the designated officers who take care of the GST portal.
Mm.
And what we found out, they replied to us saying that yeah, that's a error on our side, and they corrected it now.
Mm.
The values were almost 100 times of what they were actually were.
Oh.
So currently, you can go onto GST portal and see the data set, the real data. But previously, the data was almost 100 times the current data which is now on the portal. So that's one thing. And also, not only that, there's some error paths. We also try to find the potential gaps. Like
Mm.
whenever we updating, we have a lot of data. We have to be updated every month or every 6 months or every 1 year. In those cases, what we found is there is also potential gaps in the government data.
Okay.
In those cases, we file RTS just like we filed RTA for unclaimed deposits.
Mm.
In those cases, we found whenever we file an RTA, the departments get activated and upload the documents on the portal itself. So Toshakana was one such case, and also there were cases related to uh, yeah, recently that election commission, there was uh, some reports related to Congress, like electoral bonds,
Mm-hmm.
everything.
Mm.
It was released once we filed an RT with them. So these are some of the examples where we made a small impact, but big, it can impact a lot of people, like because
Yeah.
GST is like used by everybody.
Yeah.
So a simple error can do all wrongs in the analysis.
Yeah. Yeah. Completely. And so I think, yeah, very intriguing. Definitely, I think an incentive for all of you to check out dataful.in and also dataful_factly, where Akhil and his team, they produce wonderful little posts about various things related to data, uh, ranging from I think violence and or casualties related to accidents to more daily everyday things like consumption of eggs and poultry
Yes.
and all of that. So very interesting trends that you will find related to India, and sometimes narrowing down on a particular area like you did with the Karnataka elections. So dataful underscore faculty and dataful.in, definitely look those up. um, since we have a little more time, Akhil, any other data sets that you worked on over the past fortnight that you would like to talk about?
Yeah, we keep adding data on a daily basis. So, but some important data which people might connect to now since it's rainy season,
Mm,
we have uploaded data sets on rainfall, like almost 120 years of southwest monsoon rain data,
mm,
and every month wise.
mm,
So, people who wants to do analysis on rains and everything, they can download that. And also, since with the rains comes diseases, so we also upload data on waterborne diseases.
mm,
So people can also download that, and we have data related to electricity statistics and also software exports.
mm.
Uh, yeah, today itself we upload data related to social media intermediaries, which
Mm.
might be an important thing. So you can explore the Dataful
Yeah,
portal. You can search for what you want. Like
yeah,
we have a lot of different diverse data, so people can search and find if the data want they want is available on the platform.
yeah. And I think, like I mentioned, since Dataful is also active on social media at dataful underscore faculty, if you look at the kind of work and you think that there's something that you might benefit from, I think you can get in touch with the team through DMs or comments, and share your needs, your pain points related to data, and that's something they will definitely consider when they are coming up with um, the next sort of when they clean more data and put it up, make it available. I think we do not have any questions, so we will skip that part. And I think with that, we come to the end of this edition of the Faculty Digest. Thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to connecting with you again over the course of these lives that we do. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and follow us across these social media platforms. We are at Factly India everywhere, and of course, Dataful is at dataful underscore Factly. Our website is factly.in, and there's dataful.in. Look at all these websites, read through the articles that we put out. There's bound to be something that is of interest to you. And of course, consider joining our memberships. Again, the join button is live next to our channel name. So definitely consider that. And reach out to us, please, through our, comments on our videos, comments on our social media posts. Let us know what kind of content you'd like to see, or, even if you just want to give kudos to the work that we already do, we are open to that as well, or any constructive feedback. We look forward to all of that. And yes, the eighth edition of the Faculty Digest will be 2 weeks from now, around the same time, 6 p.m. in India. And yes, I think with that, we have come to the end of the seventh edition of the Faculty Digest. Thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to hearing from you.